It's -5 degrees Celsius, 23 degrees Fahrenheit here in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and it's Christmas Eve. And what do we do when it's this cold out at this time of year? We take a 5.3 out of a wrecked Chevy truck and put it in a Holden HZ One Tonner.
Football meat pies, kangaroos and Holden cars. Football meat pies, kangaroos and Holden cars.
Cause I love baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet.
I'm over here at my shed with the 253 that came out of the HZ. I got that one tonner from a guy in Fort Wayne who also owns a LX Tirana hatchback and an XB Falcon four-door. This little engine that couldn't tow my Tirana. In fact, it blew a heater line off the LPG converter and all the coolant left, and it blew a head gasket, and when I drained the oil there was nothing left but chocolate milk. Now, I could have gone with a small block Chevy. I know that fits because HQ Holdens came with them back in the early 70s. I could have gone with a big block Chevy. I know that fits because I've got one in my HQ Monaro. But ultimately, the 5.3 made the most sense. How about a 3800 Series 2 with a T5 5-speed transmission? Maybe. Good enough for Commodores. So why a 5.3? They're cheap. They're everywhere. They make 300 plus horsepower stock, fuel injected, aluminium heads, iron block. Same architecture as an LS, but a lot cheaper and a lot more plentiful. I bought this truck yesterday for 400 bucks. It's got a 5.3 Vortec. Looks like it may have been replaced at some point with a 2000 year. I think the truck is a 2001. It's a cable throttle body, so that's cool. It does run. Now let's fire it up, see if it does start. I believe it has 200,000 miles on it. Oh, she's a little hard to start, but she does go. Now, the reason this was so cheap yeah, transmission. No, transmission's good. Rear end, no good. Now these are the engine mounts I've made. You have the engine side here. You've got the frame side here that bolted the original frame mounts. So no modification to the frame, just in case I want to put the 253 back in. Can't see that happening, but you never know. I'm using energy suspension, universal spring shackle components. They are 1.5 inch ID and go in a 2-inch OD with a 250 wall DOM tube. 9/16 bolts and spacer tubes in the middle. Here are the mounts painted black and all assembled. Time to put them on the car. So the engine's in its final resting place and sitting on the new mounts. And I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. It's about 2 days worth of fabrication and screwing around, doing this and doing that. So, if you don't have the time or you don't have the tools necessary, I think the tough mounts are a pretty good option. They may seem expensive, but they're going to save you a lot of time, and they've already done all the engineering. They do recommend using a different oil pan, and I can kind of see why, because if you look down here, the truck oil pan does hang low, well below the crossmember, and that's going to be a problem if this thing ever bottoms out, because that is cast aluminium, which means it won't bend. It'll just crack and shatter, and goodbye all your oil when that happens. So I've still not sold on this pan. I could swap it out with a Holly or the mast one or any other number of fabricated ones, but right now I think I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. So from underneath the car, you can see how low that pan hangs down. But there is ample clearance around it, so I'm inclined just to run with it. Now, the stock crossmember for the transmission, unbelievably, bolts up. I used an energy suspension GM transmount, and although the drive shaft won't work because this trans is a lot longer than the Turbo 180, which is also known as the Trimatic, using the stock crossmember saved a lot of time. So I think I'm going to wrap up part one. I hope you tune back for however many parts it's going to take to sort out the rest of this mess. There's wiring to be done, there is shifter cables, there is cooling system, there is transmission cooler lines, drive shaft, throttle cable, any number of stuff still to be worked out. So bear with me, stay with me, and hopefully we'll get this running before spring.
Australia, what's your favorite sport?
Football,
Snack?
pies,
Animal?
kangaroos,
And what's your favorite car, Australia?
Holden.
Let me see, that's football, meat pies, kangaroos, and Holden cars, huh?
Right,
Well, you sure sound like Australia to me.
we are.
Well, then you better tell me again, because I just might forget.
We love football, meat pies, kangaroos, and Holden cars. Football, meat pies, kangaroos, and Holden cars.
That's football, meat pies, kangaroos, and Holden cars.
Football and meat pies, kangaroos, and Holden cars.
I think you better tell me again.
We love football, meat pies, kangaroos, and Holden cars.
In case you're wondering, this commercial is brought to you by football, meat pies, kangaroos, and Australia's own car.
They go together underneath the southern stars. Football and meat pies, kangaroos, and Holden cars.
Makes sense to me.
Football, meat pies, kangaroos.
In the years that I've been living, a lot of things have surely changed. A lot of things have come and gone, some even came back again. But through all the many changes, some things are for sure. And you know that mighty fine feeling kind of makes me feel secure, because I love baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. They go together in the good old USA. Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet.
In case you're wondering, this message is brought to you by baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and America's favorite car.